All right, welcome to this video lesson. Today we're going to learn about types of numbers. We are basically going to have a look at natural numbers, integers, rational and irrational numbers. We'll learn how to identify them and we will be explaining why are they so. Okay. To begin with, natural numbers are basically counting numbers. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 up to the positive infinity. These are all counting numbers. Let's say how many are there. The number that represents how many, those are counting numbers and those are known as natural numbers. Okay. Integers, on the other hand, can include zero and negative numbers along with the natural numbers. So it can be zero, it can be all the negative numbers, it can be all the positive numbers, but not fraction. Let's say 1/2 cannot be an integer. Okay, or maybe 0.5, they cannot be integer. Okay? Integers are whole numbers, can be negative or positive or zero. If you look at the number line, you'll see that 0 is in the middle, and as you go to the right, it becomes more and more positive, and as you go to the left, it becomes more and more negative. And these whole numbers are basically integers. These are all integers, and if you go from 1 to the right side of a number line, these are all natural numbers. So natural numbers are basically a subset of integers. They belong to the integers, but they are special kind of integers that can start from 1 only. Next thing we're going to learn is rational numbers. Okay, rational numbers are numbers that can be represented as a fraction. If 22 is written, it's a whole number, but we know that we can write this as a fraction with the denominator 1. Okay, so this is a rational number. So all integers belong to the rational numbers. All terminating decimals, let's say 5.81 or 2.63, these are all terminating decimals. These are rational numbers. All right. Because they can be represented as a fraction, 5.81 can be written as 581/100, or 2.63 can be written as 263/100. Okay, or maybe 2.5 can be written as 25/10. So if you can write a number as a fraction, that is basically a rational number. All recurring decimals are rational numbers. Recurring decimal means you can see that it's 0.666 and it goes on. If you convert this into a fraction, it becomes 2/3. So since terminating decimals can be represented as fraction, they are known as rational numbers. The key idea here is decimals that ends or repeats are basically rational. Moving on to irrational numbers, simply just the opposite of rational. It cannot be written as a fraction. Okay? Decimals that do not terminate are basically irrational numbers. Okay? Let's say √2 is 1.4142 ... That means the number goes on. It's not a terminating decimal. Similarly, the value of pi is 3.1415 ... It goes on. It's not a terminating decimal, so it's an irrational number. And any number you multiply with it will in turn become irrational. Let's have a look at an worked example. It says classify the following into integers, natural numbers, and all. So the list is given here. Let's identify one by one. 12 is the first number. It's a whole number, so it must be an integer. Okay, it is greater than 0, so it must be a natural number. Okay, it can be written as a fraction. Let's say 12/1 is same as 12, so it's a rational number as well. Of course, not irrational because it can be written as a fraction. 0 is an integer. It's not a natural number, but it is rational number. 0 is a rational because you can write 0/1. It can be written as a fraction. Although the value doesn't change, it can be written as a rational number. 0.8652, it's a terminating decimal. It has an end. Terminate means end. It has an end here. 0.8652. Okay. So this is rational number 0.8652. It is not integer because it's not a whole number. Of course, not natural number and not irrational. Root over 12 is basically, if you write root over 3 fours are 12, 4 can be written as 2 times 2. So it's basically 2 times 2 times 3. And if you break it down, you'll see that it's root over 2 times root over 2 times root over 3. These are all irrational numbers. So basically, root over 12 should also be irrational number. Okay. 4 pi. Pi is irrational. So 4 times an irrational number will also give you irrational number. So 4 pi is irrational. Negative 5. Negative 5 is an integer. It's a whole number. It's a negative whole number. So negative 5 is an integer. Of course, not natural number because natural numbers cannot be negative. Rational, yes, of course, rational, because negative 5 can be written as negative 5 over 1 as a fraction. So negative 5 is rational number. 67 over 19, it's a fraction. We can classify it as rational, not integer, not natural, rational number. 67 over 19. Square root over 8 8s are 64, so 8 times 8, it can be written as 8 square. Or we can say that square root over negative 8 times negative 8, it's also positive 64. So we can say negative 8 whole square. Okay, so positive 8 here. And for this one, square root and square gets cancelled out, negative 8 whole square. So you get negative 8 here. So this can be considered as integer. Okay, because square root over 64 can be positive 8 or negative 8. So we can write square root over 64. It can be classified as integer. Okay, and if you just consider the positive 8, we can say that this is also a counting number, so it can be a natural number. Okay, so square root over 64 can be a natural number. And since it can be represented as a fraction, we can say that this is a rational number as well. Okay. To recapitulate, today we have learned about the types of numbers: integers, natural numbers, rational and irrational. Okay. And we learned how to identify rational and irrational and how to identify integers and natural numbers. That's all. Thank you.